Hi, everybody. Sorry about the previous one. That's twice now that's happened where I've gone, where I've tried to go live and the damn thing just gets stuck. So I want to say hi to Bismo, Spirit, Tres Leche, Kathy, Teresa, Elena. You see Lisa, Carmen, Delilah, Patty Montgomery, Teresa Harper, Karen, DB, Desiree. Hope everybody's doing well. Hi, Lulu Bell. So did everybody watch the hearings today? That was fun. Hi, Hoover and Genealogy. Did you guys watch the hearing today? Yeah, it was. The hearings today was fun. Those were fun. I especially liked the part where everybody was roasting Jeffrey Clark. Like, man, that guy got roasted. I mean, holy hell. Holy hell. That was fun. That was so much fun. I got a good chuckle out of that. Seriously, a good chuckle. Hey, Sunflower. I liked hearing about all the members that had asked for pardons. Hey, Terry. Marjorie, Monistat, Trader Gang Green is over there saying that she never asked for a pardon, that the committee is spreading lies and gossip and rumors. And it's like, you want to clear up your name? Go under oath. Go under oath for the whole world to see. And then I dare you to lie because the committee has receipts. Like I was just, whoo, man, Clark is an idiot, Teresa. He is, goddamn, he's an idiot. Biggest idiot I've ever seen. I'm looking on Twitter here and it's saying that MTG was sworn into office on January 3rd. And then she turned around and asked for pardons. Oh my God. Let me see. Hey, Terry. Sorry, I'm looking on the Twitter. Yeah, the whole part where Trump was saying, just leave the election, just say that the election was corrupt and leave the rest to me and the Republican congressmen. And then today they just name dropped a few people that asked for pardons. Oh, there's an article here. The largest Burmese python ever captured in Florida weighs 215 pounds. I'm telling y'all, Florida has some effed up laws, dude. Let's see what else is on here. This is funny. Let me see. So I'm not really sure Oh, so I'm seeing a tweet here that has been confirmed that Arizona GOP Chair Kelly Ward and her husband Michael, who were among the false pro Trump electors, have received grand jury subpoenas. So the FBI also, well, DOJ also not, they didn't just go to Clark's house today. They wound up a few of the well, they didn't round them up. They went into their homes with search warrants for a few of the false electors today. I know that they went after one guy in Nevada, I think a couple in Arizona, I think some in Pennsylvania. Yeah. Yeah. So this is going to be fun. And then you guys heard about the SCOTUS ruling today, overturning concealed carry in the state of New York, which the whole thing doesn't make sense at all. So their argument for gutting Roe v. Wade was some unconstitutional bullshit, um, saying that the states have the right to ban abortions, but then turn around and overturn a ban on concealed weapons, stating that the state does not. I mean, at least be consistent in your bullshit. You know what I mean? Like, meanwhile, this is just days after an armed gunman showed up at Justice Kavanaugh's house and called the cops on himself. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just doesn't make a goddamn bit of sense. Yeah, I saw that about Matt Gaetz. Well, it wasn't cradle to grave pardon, was it, Miss Cut? I thought he asked for. I heard Rachel Maddow say it today. From the beginning of time, or something like that. Well, see here, Awakened, like, it's kind of funny. It's kind of, I think, suspect. But I knew that the Supreme Court ruling was in the works. That's been there for a few months now, and I've told people that on, I think it was the last Sunday Night Live or the one previous. I've mentioned it a few times that they were getting ready to overturn concealed carry laws nationwide. I knew about that, but what seems suspect is that these bare minimum, which does nothing. The new gun legislation that just passed the Senate, was it today or yesterday? The same day that the Supreme Court undoes that bill. Do you see what I'm saying? So even though there was a bill that passed in the Senate, the Supreme Court turned around and said, no, 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 conceal carry all you want. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, it just makes me wonder, it's like, is that why it had so much GOP support for it, so that the members of the Republican Party can save face and seem somewhat reasonable when it comes to gun safety legislation, knowing that the Supreme Court was going to cover their ass? So it's just like the timing of that doesn't, it seems suspect to me, you know? So, not sure. But meanwhile, there's no guns allowed in the Supreme Court. Meanwhile, everybody's losing their minds when a person shows up at Brett Kavanaugh's house, and Mitch McConnell's on the floor losing his goddamn mind because his investment almost got shot. You know what I mean? It's like, it's just all very, very, very suspect. And another thing that I was thinking about during the hearings today was, Donald Trump has been losing his mind about the so-called blunder of Kevin McCarthy to boycott the 1-6 committee. Now, I was thinking about that, and I remembered during impeachment 2, there was a lot of reporting after the Senate left Donald Trump off the hook when they cleared him, when they found him innocent. During impeachment 2, I am pretty certain that there was reporting that Mitch McConnell, from, I think it was a few months ago, from meetings that they were having, and it was leaked that Mitch McConnell's strategy was to let the Dems take out the trash, let the Dems impeach him and all this other stuff, and let the Dems deal with it. But then he turned around and acquitted him in the Senate, whipped up the party and acquitted him in the Senate. And then fast forward, Trump leaves office. There's the whole negotiation for a special committee to investigate the January 6th stuff. And then McCarthy went supposedly and lobbied McConnell to shoot down that committee with Nancy Pelosi. And that's how we ended up with the select committee. Are you guys following? So it just makes me wonder, because if anything, Mitch McConnell is just a political animal. He doesn't give a shit about anything other than don't piss off the voters and, let somebody else handle the problem. It just makes me wonder, like, even though it appears to be a blunder, I'm wondering if it was intentional on McCarthy's and McConnell's thinking as a better strategy. That way they can let somebody else hang them, whether it's DOJ or whatever, keep their hands clean, and then say, well, we didn't do anything. We're not the ones. Hey, CG, we're not the ones that went against the almighty ruler. It was the committee and these rhino Republicans, Liz Cheney and Adam Kinzinger. Are you guys, am I making sense? Because from a strategic standpoint, it seems kind of like a good plan. Like, let the committee do it. Let the committee take out the trash, along with cleaning house of all the problematic people within McCarthy's caucus, the Matt Gaetz, the Marjorie Taylor Greens, and by taking a gamble that those people are in deep red states, which they would keep the seat anyways. Does that make sense? Or am I talking out of my ass? But do you see what I'm saying, though, CG? Like, it just makes me wonder if this whole, what everybody is calling McCarthy blunder, if they just did it this way on purpose to make it look like a blunder, to just because they didn't convict him in the Senate. So they got to keep their hands clean in the Senate. Now you make a blunder and let the trash get taken out by DOJ or whoever else, and then you still get to keep your hands clean saying we didn't do it. It just, and I don't even know how to word that question to ask the cards, because I don't even know if I'm formulating my thoughts correctly. It just seems like a jumbled mess inside of my head. So I don't even know how to ask that question. Well, Sandman, if they are in deep red districts, it would. If they're in deep red districts, it would. Kind of like Mo Brooks just lost his election to the Trump endorsed candidate. And I can't remember. No, we did Mo Brooks's. Hold on. Mo Brooks. Okay, here he is. Here is Mo Brooks up here. I I mentioned that he would lose the election, correct? For Mo Brooks, because he sits here. He sits on House Scythe. So he gets cut off here. The elections up here, Crossroads, well, over here it's followed by Mice, it gets taken away. And then down here it's followed by Scythe, it gets cut off here. And then at nights here to Mountain. No, he doesn't win. And then Woman over here is in House Moon. She's favored. So do you guys remember what I said on Mo Brooks's Grand Tableau? Because I remember seeing that Scott Perry did not look good. The woman that he was running against was favored. And for him, I don't even know if I went into the elections, but he's not sitting in a good position. He's in deep shit. And he will talk. Which we did hear that today, that he is saying that he'll go talk to the committee in public. So now that he lost his primary election and he has no protection or anything, doesn't have a pardon or none of that stuff, he's going to sing. And Man Nights Down Here to Birds, he's going to sing. And he provides answers. Key on the House of Man. Bib Costas posted a tester by Mo Brooks naming everyone that asked for pardon and why. Who's Bib Costa? Oh, Bob Costas. Well, I saw something that said he asked for all sitting members of Congress and the Senate that opposed Arizona and Pennsylvania. So, Ted slimy ass Cruz is all wrapped up in that shit. As well as that other slimy motherfucker that was like fist bumping the white supremacist, Josh Hawley. See, the U.S. Senate defies the Supreme Court, passes the first bipartisan gun safety reforms bill in nearly 3 decades. It doesn't matter. Okay, the presidential pardon that Matt Gaetz requested, right here. Quote, from the beginning of time up until today for any and all things. That's the wording that they requested from Matt Gaetz. From the beginning of time up until today for any and all things. From the beginning of time. So before dinosaurs roamed the earth, before mankind was even an idea in the mind of the universe, this motherfucker's trying to get a pardon going back that far. From the beginning of time up until today for any and all things. I can't. That's and you guys remember too, he lobbied Roger Stone. He lobbied Roger Stone. Did he pay Roger Stone? Because I remember the story where he was lobbying Roger Stone and Roger Stone gave him a figure to buy himself a pardon. But I don't remember if it was ever confirmed that he actually paid Roger Stone to lobby Trump for that pardon that he never got. And then he lobbied him again going back into December. And then Liz Cheney is asking Democrats in Wyoming to register as Republicans to help her win her primary against the Trump-backed candidate. So she's trying to do that same strategy that the Democrats in Colorado are doing against Lauren Boebert, to register as Republicans to help her win her primary. So that's from 2 hours ago. Let me see. I'm wondering what else he besides the sex trafficking and the drug dealing and the embezzlement, and I wonder what else he's involved in. Oh, okay. I found the letter. I found the letter from Michael Molly A. EOP, who, Dear Molly, President Trump has asked me to send you this letter. This letter is also pursuant to a request from Matt Gaetz. It is clear that deep-pocketed and vitriolic socialist Democrats, with perhaps some liberal Republican help, are going to abuse America's judicial system by targeting numerous Republicans with sham charges deriving from our recent fight for honest and accurate elections and speeches related thereto. As such, I recommend that President give general all-purpose pardons to the following groups of people. And then it goes on and says, every Republican who signed the amicus brief in the Texas lawsuit against other states deriving from their violation of Article 1, Section 4, and perhaps other provision of the United States Constitution. Every congressman and senator who voted to reject the Electoral College vote submissions of Arizona and Pennsylvania. And then it goes on to say, American, that's a typo, but right there it says American, simply cannot permit socialist Democrats to abuse freedom of speech, freedom of association, United States Constitution, and various federal statutes via their often used strategy of abusing the judicial process via private organizations they fund or the prosecutorial arm they will soon control. Thank you for your consideration. Mo Brooks, sent from iPad. So there's a letter, and that was posted by Mr. Lawrence Tribe, constitutional lawyer. And Jim Jordan was actually very Weasley, because he didn't ask for a pardon for himself. He just wanted to know if everybody in that meeting was going to get a pardon. So that little fucker weaseled through, a little loophole there. Mm-mm-mm. Hey, lucky girl, nice to see you. Let me see. Yeah, Kathy Hochul, the new governor in New York, and that took over for slimy ass Cuomo. She called the Supreme Court ruling on overturning concealed weapons in the state of New York outrageous and reckless. That law has been in place since Teddy Roosevelt, you guys, in New York. Since Teddy Roosevelt. Teddy Roosevelt was a goddamn Republican, and they overturned it. Marjorie Taylor Greene has repeatedly refused questions from Kyle Cheney and Annie Grayer at CNN about whether she ever asked for a pardon, saying that she kept pointing to her tweets, which don't answer the question. Of course, fucking idiot. She reiterated that she thinks Julian Assange and Edward Snowden should get pardons and that Cassidy Hutchinson's testimony was hearsay, since she said she heard MTG made the request of Patrick Philbin. And then they asked her if she could clear up whether she actually did ask for a pardon or not, given the hearsay claim, and she didn't answer to that. Bring receipts, bitch. Bring receipts. You're going to yap your orangutan mouth. No shade to orangutans because they're great little animals. I love them. Oh my God, I can't with these people. I can't with these people. Let me see. Mm-mm-mm. I can't. All these people are in so much trouble, dude. Jeffrey Clark, when he went to the committee, they showed the video today. He tried to claim his Fifth Amendment rights and executive privilege at the same time. Fifth Amendment and executive privilege. And, you know, I was listening to a bunch of the legal commentators, and they're like, that's not how this works. It's either one or the other. You know, like, and you can't claim executive privilege if you were part of a crime. You know what I mean? Like, I was just laughing. But it's like, dude, homeboy so bad today. Like, he was the one massive idiot in the room who didn't realize what a freaking idiot he was. And then it's like all these other lawyers are saying, dude, you're committing a felony, you're committing a felony, you're committing a felony. And who's that one guy? I don't know his name. The lawyer that called him a fucking asshole, because he asked him a question to Jeffrey Clark, and Jeffrey Clark answered, and then he replied to him that he's a fucking asshole. And it's good to know that the first thing that he would do as attorney general was commit a felony by violating, and then he gave the statute. And it's like they all told him that he was committing felonies, and he still did it. He still did it. He still did it. And it's like, oh my God, this guy is so stupid. And then everybody, all the commentators on TV today were dunking on him too, like saying stuff like, if this is a preview to his performance of what he's going to be like, you know, under oath or facing, you know, criminal trial or whatever, like, this is horrible. This is horrible. Like, the guy is so dumb, he doesn't know he's dumb. I mean, dear Lord. Dear Lord. Let me see. Did we ever do him? Marjorie Taylor Greene. We did Mark Meadows. Oh, I didn't write down who that was. Okay, we did Putin. Junior. Ivanka. Oh, and then I saw something on Twitter today too, that the committee has video from that documentarian, and they're claiming that in that video from the documentarian, based on what Ivanka Trump has said during that video, in comparison to what she told the January 6th committee under oath, she lied. She either lied to the documentarian or she lied to the January 6th committee, where she was saying that she didn't support the insurrection, but they're saying, which we haven't seen that video yet, so I'm not sure, but they were saying that in the video from the documentarian, that she was on board with it. So I don't know. So I'm not sure who to do tonight. Oh shit, I didn't write down who this was. I have one here that I did on the 17th that I didn't write down a name. Okay, we did Ted Cruz last time I was on. Ted Cruz. But I only looked at his very briefly about, you know, the whole affair thing. Let me see. I think I mentioned that he's in danger as well because he's got Scythe sitting in his house. I don't remember if we talked about him speaking to the committee. So I'm not sure who to do this next one on. Let me see. So we've done Mo Brooks. We've done Steve Bannon. There's a person here that I didn't write down the goddamn name. Ted Cruz we've done. Oh, this must have been, hold on. This is Ginny Thomas. This was Ginny Thomas. The one that we did on the 17th. That was Ginny Thomas. Okay, so we've done Ted Cruz, Ginny Thomas, Mo Brooks, Scott Perry. Let me see. Where's 28? He's right here. And that's the one where it looks like the woman has a better chance in the elections than he does. Whoever his opponent is, if it's a female, she does better. He not so much. He's in a world of shit. He's in a world of shit. He better lawyer up this way. Let's see here. We've done Jim Jordan. We did him on the 7th. He's heading into some legal issues as he moves along. He sits right here on House Whip. Birds sits in its own house, and Whip sits on House Man. So we have Man and Whip mirroring each other in this grand tableau, and Birds in its own house. So Birds, the closer it is, becomes negative. It because it's so close, it deals with stress and anxiety and chatter and phone calls and meetings and verbal communication. He's shitting his pants about that. He's suffering here with Cross in the house of Tower. So he suffers there in the courts or legally. And then he's got Snake in the house of Letter, fake paperwork, false paperwork, documentation, results, letters, mail, all of it is false. Snake in the house of Letter. And then you have Whip in the house of Man, which we talked about, him arguing and fighting. But as he moves this way, he's nervous about a huge issue here about the delivery of something that was delayed. And then there's something here being investigated in the law that is perhaps, to use Karen's words, blooming. And it is very, very strong. And it grows and grows and grows and grows and metastasizes with Tree in the House of Stars. Tree has to do with growth. And something that branches out. It's also very solid and deeply rooted. And Stars is very vast. So as time moves this way for him, he's going to be in a shit ton of trouble. And then with the corners on his, we had Child, Mice, Letter, and Heart. So good luck. We did McCarthy in May. Where was he? Oh, McCarthy was in the House of Writer. And there's something blooming in the courts for him too that he's going to suffer from. Well, at the time of that reading in May. Where is Fox? Hold on. Fox is right here. Fox is in the House of House. McCarthy was in the House of Writer. Moon was in its own house. So something that there's going to be a lot of recognition in regards to the entire scheme from members of his own party here with the central cards. Within his caucus. Fox in the House of House. That will gain a lot of energy in regards to the delay of the election and the chaos and lies that it all did. But let me see, where's Fox? Fox is here. Fox is in the House of House. And then there's an agreement here to answer the committee. Remember that question I was asking about earlier, where I was like saying how it just seemed weird that he gave the names to Nancy Pelosi of the assholes that he knew she wouldn't want on the committee that were involved, just so that she would reject him, and then lobbied Mitch McConnell to not let Nancy Pelosi have a committee, which then resulted in this special committee. And I was saying earlier, I was like, I'm wondering if that's the strategy, because that way it gets Trump in trouble. It gets people in his own party in trouble, but then he gets to keep his hands clean. Well, here's Fox. That would be your strategy, because Fox is very cunning and manipulative and devious and very sly in their dealings. So, suspicious agreement, answer the committee, and then there's your secret. It's all right here. Suspicious agreement, answer the committee, or answer in public. The secrets here are revealed and bring an ending, and then there's recognition and fame here. Now, that agreement, there's multiple agreements here. To lie repeatedly in what you say, this way, with ring, crossroad, snake, whip, and birds. Criminal conspiracy here with ring knighting over to bear. An agreement with an older person, ring knights over to lilies. Lilies has to do with virtue and harmony and elders. So there's an agreement with an elder here, and he is acting dishonorably and unethically. Lily sits below McCarthy, but it's part of a strategy here. So I should add McConnell to the list of grand tableaus. Man, this list. Okay, so we have Andy Biggs, Pat Cipollone, Roger Stone, John Eastman, Clarence Thomas, Mitch McConnell, and then I guess we could add Jeffrey Clark too. And then there was that other guy that they mentioned today as well, Ken whatever, that sounded like KKK. Do you guys know who I'm talking about? They slid him into DOJ around December 20-something. And they didn't want anybody to know, but he's the one that drafted up the letter that Jeffrey Clark was trying to give to everybody for the fake electors. So that guy, Ken, I can't remember his last name, but it sounded like Ku Klux Klan. So he's going to be in a world of shit too. So, okay, let me see if I can put up a poll here. Let me see. So John Eastman and Jeffrey Clark and whoever that other guy's name, was it Cucciolini? No, he had a weird name. He had like 2 K's in his last name, Kukowski or something like that. It sounded like KKK because it was Ken something that sounded like KKK. And let's see, Ken whatever. I'm just gonna name him that. Klukowski. Thank you. Klukowski. See, am I the only one that thinks that his name sounds like KKK? I'm going to write that down. The poll's up, you guys. So while you guys are voting, the poll is at the very top. I'm going to pin it. I'm going to let you guys vote. Peanut just got home because he was out riding. So I'm going to go say hello to Peanut, refill my coffee because we're going to have a late night. And I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I'm back. Hey, Jenny. Okay, so we have McCONNELL. Ugh. Really, you guys? Really? McCONNELL? Come on now. Why y'all gotta do me dirty like that? That's gross. I don't want to do McCONNELL. I don't want to do McCONNELL, you guys. I don't want to. Oh, Clark and John Eastman and that Ken Klukowski guy, and there's a lot of people shooting bricks tonight. Okay. Guess we're gonna do that piece of shit McCONNELL. he lands outside of the GT. He's in the line of fate. So 1 second. Ooh, and he's worried about her. And I guarantee you, this is Jenny Thomas, guaranteed. Just from a quick and dirty look at this. Yep, he's landing on the line of fate. So 1 second. Okay. So he's landing down here in the line of fate. Okay, 1 second while I take out the itty bitty cards. Okay, sorry, I'm gonna take out the baby cards. So for those of you just tuning in, this is a Grand Tableau on McCONNELL. That's what you guys voted on the poll at the beginning of the show. Okay. Box tree. Box tree birds. Ship. Ship. Number 3. Book. Okay, book. Ring. Garden. And then moon. Okay, then we got bear. Cross. Bear cross down here. Rider. Clover. Dog. Whip. Whip. Scythe. Lilies. Tower. Okay, crossroads. Child. Coffin. Key. Fish. Snake. Bouquet. Storks. House. Clouds. Sun. Mountain. Woman. Anchor. Stars. Then we got mice. Letter. Man. Heart. Okie dokie. All right, Mitch McConnell's Grand Tableau. He falls outside of the tableau in the line of fate, meaning the weight of all this is on his shoulders. Okay? So he's not really interacting with any of this. And it's all bearing down on him. Okay, so he's got sun in his own house and he sits in the house of anchor. Okay, you have mountain in the house of woman, and then this woman sits on lilies. And that's why I was saying I'm pretty sure that this is Ginny Thomas. Why? If you follow her line up, a marriage or an agreement, separated, some sort of a lobbyist or a businesswoman, and then her. She sits on house lilies. She knights to lilies. An older woman or a woman that through marriage, with ring up here, is married to someone in a court or with the law, if that's making any sense at all. She knights over here to bouquet. She knights here to coffin. She knights to whip. She knights to lilies. She knights to letter. Perhaps this woman has some sort of illness or is deeply depressed, but she may be kind of medicating or acting happy. She's very argumentative and abusive. And there's something here about her where she tries, or she's viewed as someone with virtue, but that virtue is false here. It's not real. Okay. So, okay, starting off, let's see here. Fox, moon, stars, storks. This could be the news and the arrival of the investigation or something that is being researched and looked into very resourcefully, very cunning, with a lot of famous people and how widespread this was in overturning or changing something. The center of the tableau is dog in the house of birds, whip in the house of child, coffin in the house of garden, key in the house of mountain. The loyalists that were fighting to bring something to an end and obstruct. This is also something about involvement and who was involved with the Proud Boys coming. The reason I say that, power and force, and who gifted finance, who financed the visitors that were happy, loyalist, weapons at the rally here at the Capitol as well. Supremacists that are wanting power. This combination right here was similar to the one that we saw when we did in September of 2020 before the inauguration. It was child whip, scythe, tower was here, garden was here, scythe was up here. And I remember in that Grand Tableau, Jenny and Johnny helped me on it, and I said that I saw people with weapons by a building. Well, that was the riot, the Proud Boys. It was little people that were loyalists that brought weapons and attacked a large building, the Capitol. Well, he's got that on his mind, and specifically who funded it. And when that shit hits the fan, because here, the secrets comes from members of the party. So if I follow it this way, we can read this as news that the investigation is growing. It has roots, it's growing, it's solid, it's branching out. The communications and the meetings that were had in regards to the transition birds in the house of ship falls right next to it in the house of house. So members in the house that were discussing the transition, also communications and meetings about travel. Then you have book in the house of tree, knowledge and secrets about how this thing is growing. With the membership here, of people that agreed to lie in the party, that brings ends to career. Also, there is an agreement as well here. Ring sits in the house of clouds. Clouds is the king of clubs down here. And next to this, we have another king of hearts. Over here, we have the queen of hearts. This could be an agreement with another man, and also with this one here, agreements with members of the party, not just in the Senate, but quite possibly in the House, and their involvement. If I read the garden as the actual committee, the committee hearings, those are looking pretty good, and he's viewing them pretty good, even though he's distant from it here, just from distance. He appears quite distant from it, but that does not mean he's paying attention. He's not paying attention. He is. Also, because the fox is here, I wouldn't be surprised if he's calculating and strategizing how to bring them success and a win. Fox Knight's here to Clover. Fox Knight's here to Garden. How they can spin this into a win in regards to the elections, the upcoming midterm elections. If I look around the elections, because this is in regards to Mitch McConnell, power is out of reach because he sits in the line of fate. Power, delivery, and then a win. But it doesn't look good because this sits on scythe, Ryder sits on scythe, Clover sits on whip. Burdened, and then you're still small here. Difficult choices, difficult elections, burdened elections, multiple sacrifices here, and you're still small here. Changing the house, not going to happen. And also because quite possibly members of the house sits on house letter. Well, those people partook and they're part of some sort of this union here with the party to lie and confuse stuff and careers end. So if he's looking to gain power out of the upcoming election, that doesn't look favorable. If I box Crossroads in. He sits on anchor. So it's kind of like he's got goals and everything that he's able to achieve. He'll achieve some goals, but as far as gaining majority, it doesn't look like it. Either majority in the Senate or in the House. If this is in regards to the House of Representatives, that doesn't look good. He's got Sun in his house close by. So his chain is man to anchor to Sun back to him. That's a very short change. short chain. So it's like he's setting his goals to be successful and gets what he wants. But then if you follow this line, boom, you're blocked. And then you have heart in the house of cross, which is in the house of storks, and then the storks right below it. It's very difficult for him to overcome the difficulties. Even though he's setting his goals and he's planning and he's strategizing, it's very difficult to overcome here. And a lot of it has to do, he knights over here to, he knights here to clouds. A lot of it has to do quite possibly with a man, king of clubs, that was trying to overturn something. A lot of confusion. I mean, it's just chaos over here. He knights to coffin. He knights to fish. With coffin, coffin sits in the house of garden. So this could be in regards to an illness that had to do with the public. It could be the ending of something societally. A lot of grief societally. Like the public is not happy. They're sick of it. Sick of it, sick of it, sick of it. And then here, he knights to fish. Fish sits in the house of crossroads. Fish has to do with the lot and abundance. So it's like an abundance or a lot that goes into the elections. Well, that's not good. It's followed here by storks. A lie about something being stolen. So it's going to be very difficult for him to, even though he's going to be persistent, it's going to be difficult, if I'm interpreting this correctly, for him to achieve what he's desiring. But he will be persistent, because it goes man, anchor, and then sun. So he will achieve some goals. But as far as perhaps gaining majority, if this is majority, I don't know. Because over here, it doesn't look good. And here with the elections, it doesn't look good. This doesn't look good over here. Now, I think we discussed that I am, for some reason, I was thinking that this was Jenny Thomas, just because I followed this line here and where she sits on lilies and this right here. There's going to be, she's going to cause him problems. I think we've already discussed, did we go over this? Yeah, we did, about how widespread in government this whole thing was. And also things in the court that will continue to expand. Oh, is T with KARIN in the house? Is my sweetheart T with KARIN in the house? Let me see. He desires power over us after the, well, that's going to be very difficult to overcome, because power is way over here. Oh, my KARIN, I haven't seen her. I was looking down, so I didn't even. Hey, Rondell. I didn't even see KARIN because I was staring at this thing. I'm wondering if this is McCarthy, perhaps. King of Hearts, Kevin McCarthy in the house. So maybe this is him. I'm not quite sure. Well, when we did Jenny Thomas's Grand Tableau, she was up here on the House of House, all the way at the very top, Whip and Mountain. She's quite comfortable where she's at. Oh, okay. Somebody in the chat said T with KARIN, so I thought KARIN was in the house. But yeah, Jenny Thomas on her Grand Tableau, she was in the House of House, and then it was Whip Mountain. So, and then Tower, I think, was right over here next to her. Let me hold on. Let me double check my notes. But she's being very arrogant, and yeah, it was Tower in the House of Ship, Woman, Whip, and Mountain, and then Child and Fox. She's very comfortable. Jenny Thomas was very comfortable where she's at. She's like, I'm completely. You're not going to touch me. Um, and then what did she have in her house? She had Bear in her house. Very powerful, overbearing woman. She's comfortable, untouchable. Nobody's going to touch me. Nobody has the balls to touch me. My husband sits on the Supreme Court. Try it. You know what I mean? Kind of that arrogance to her. So, but she was up here. McCONNELL falls outside of the toe. So let me see. Writer in the, oh, I'm sorry. Fox in the House of Writer. Let me see here. Fox in the House of Writer. It's supposed to be this person right here for Mitch McConnell. Supposed to be. Traditionally speaking. But I'm not so sure. Because if that's the case, that marriage is broken. That marriage is for publicity and fame this way. If I read this as his wife, you guys got to remember, these things are multi-layered. Okay, so I try to do as best I can. No, she's here. His wife is here. It's not like she's away because Ship sits very far. So she's here in the US, but that marriage is broken. It's a business transaction for her. And also her father. The woman is the ace of spades. She sits on house lilies. Lilies is the king of spades. Those two can make a pair. That marriage, if I follow it up to Mitch McConnell, that marriage is for publicity with Garden and fame. Which, hey, Justin, haven't seen you around in forever. So it's a business transaction. I mean, come on now. The guy has fallen like 8 million times, and that woman just sits there and looks at him. I'm surprised she hasn't kicked him while he's down. That would be funny. I would laugh. I'd give her $5 to kick him again. Just kidding. No, I'm not. I'm being serious. Let's see here. So you have here in his line of fate, mice, letter, man, and heart. There's going to be answers about a lot of corruption and the delaying of something that was done by a woman. A woman that delayed. Also with the mice has to do with a lot of stress and anxiety. So a very stressed and anxious person about the significant stress and worry about theft and loss and a delay that was done by a woman. This woman here, if I'm not looking at it in the context of his wife, if I'm looking at it at the context of a person that is partnered with an older man that is in the law, okay, she is sitting here next to next to Anchor. This woman is very persistent, stable, solid, not moving, stubborn, secured. Okay. What was I saying? There's something really important or significant here that had to do with delaying something that was funded or it had a lot of of wealth and finance for the elections, and lying about the steal. So there's multiple ways to read that. Important obstruction and delays that is caused by a woman. Okay. Funding elections. And then lying about stealing. A woman that was persistent in pressuring this way. Very persistent in pressuring. Very persistent in pressuring. And if you follow Mitch McConnell's line this way, he's got a massive, massive, massive headache. Mountain is huge. It's very, 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 very big. Ginormous. Okay. It's also traditionally also an enemy. So mountain has to do with blockages, something that is completely immovable. You cannot move it. You can't move a mountain. You got to go around it. And it's not, depending on the mountain, but it's not easy to get around a mountain. Okay. But if you follow his line up, knowledge here of the fight and the attack for a significant delay or very important delay, or trying to block something. So we know that that's McConnell's modus operandi: delay, 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 delay. But because it's Mountain Man, the pressure is on him this way. So let me see. So if I read book as the secret or the hidden content, it has to do with, since it sits on house tree, knowing that whatever the committee is doing is slowly developing, because tree doesn't move very quickly. Slow developing, and also knowing that it's very deeply rooted and growing, which causes new fighting. And then important delays, key in the house of Mountain, important delays. Oh, thank you, Wendy. Mountain in the house of woman, a woman that was causing a delay. This woman is causing him a massive fucking headache. Mountain sits on woman. Yep. So even though by using near and far, if this is Mitch McConnell and this is the committee, it may appear that he's near and far, he's distant from it, but he's paying close attention. And his biggest concern with mice right here, worries, is this huge problem that he's got on his head. That's a woman that was persistent in delaying something and lying. And she Knight's here to let her. She Knight's here to let her. Letter is in the house of fish. We could be looking at checks, an abundance of written correspondence, mail, letters, written messages. There's an abundance of evidence on this woman about her efforts to delay and obstruct something. And then her being persistent in pressuring this way. So that's why I told you what this means in regards to his wife, but based on this, it's like I'm pretty certain he's worried about Ginny Thomas. What else can I look at? If he is hoping to win the elections, that is uncertain this way. Because there's a lot of difficult choices, a lot of difficulties and pain and suffering and sacrifices that need to be made for the elections. And there's losses here. And any sign that he thought he had the majority is false this way. What else can I look at? What else can I look at? And then he knights here too. But we already went over that. He knows that there's huge problems in the house this way. That's why I'm kind of leaning towards this perhaps being McCarthy. Perhaps. House sits on book. House is the King of Hearts. If this is Kevin McCarthy, there may be a secret agreement here. Because you have Storks in the House of Ring, a change to an agreement. House in the House of Book, knowledge about something that's going on in the house. And then Clouds in the House of Letter, uncertain about the results. Or shit results. Okay, bad. This right here, this is talking about accidents on the road or on the path. So with these two, accidents on your path. So on a more mundane level, this could be something quite literally like he may have a fall in a staircase at home or something. Because these two right here, accidents on your path. Right here, this is as a thing, crossroads. So it's roads or stairs or a pathway. And then here in the house. So he may have an accident at home or something. Just a mundane way to interpret that on a more practical day-to-day level. With Donald Trump, I would assume that he would be here, King of Clubs, Clouds. Cloud sits on House Letter. So a lot of uncertainty with the results. And if I follow it this way, power in the elections, uncertain results. Cloud sits on Letter. Bad news, bad results. And then it's followed by Letter here. The results of the election, his wanting to maintain power. Give me a second. So that's why I'm wondering if this was part of a strategy with Kevin McCarthy. Because here it shows a change to an agreement, knowledge of something in the house, and chaotic results and a shitstorm here. Having to make a couple of sacrifices, but those sacrifices are small and things that are at the early stages in the court or in the law. Okay. And then here, not innocent. These people are not innocent, and it brings a lot of worry and anxiety. He's got mice really close by, so he may have some hope that he may be able to recover something that is perhaps missing or stolen, but it doesn't appear that way because he's blocked, and his desires are very difficult to achieve. So he sits on the house of anchor. So he's going to be pretty persistent and stable. He's safe, and he's going to persevere through it all, but it's going to be very, very, very difficult. Let me see. And he's got cross far away. So the suffering is, there's going to be several areas of suffering, and it's prolonged. It's not easy going. Let me see here. Okay. So he's got this bad card and this bad card. And as far as his success goes, for him winning the Senate or the House, Sun sits on his house. But when you look at what surrounds it, it's almost like, okay, hang in there, we can weather this storm, and then boom. No, you're not. You're not. If that makes any sense. Let me see. Okay, so he's got the sun really close by, but he's got the moon and stars kind of far. And then the sun is not sitting in a good position because it's surrounded by two very negative cards. Let me look at this. So we discussed accidents on your path. And then accidents on your path, and then also because the cloud is sitting on letter, this is very problematic messages. And it deals with all, hey, Peggy! Very problematic messages. And again, written correspondences, paperwork, mail, results, written communications. It's just problematic, very problematic. So yeah, additionally, accidents on your path. I think I touched base on that very briefly, but his gaining power at the elections, that's not looking favorable at all. The results are not good. It's very problematic. Thank you, Running Sloth. Let me see here. So he's got tree far away, so that's good indication that his health is not so bad, but he's got coffin very close by. He knights to it, and coffin is in the house of garden. So that can be in regards to some sort of an illness, but I'm not gonna go there. Let me see. Because he's got tree. Tree is not close to coffin. Whip. So the health cluster is tree, coffin, whip, clouds, and tower. So he's got these right here. He's got these right here. So, and it knights to him, but it's not looking like it's him. It's not looking like it's him. This is somebody else. Hold on. Oh. Okay, so you got tree, coffin, whip, clouds, and tower. That's your health cluster. But tree and tower are far from each other. This is close to him, but it's hitting on a diagonal. It's hitting on a diagonal. Okay, hold on. I'm wondering. I'm wondering if it's. That's the diagonal, so then I can't go this way. Can I? Yeah, drop Roe v. Wade because we're so pro-life, but then let everybody walk around the country with concealed weapons. So we can all be used for target practice because pro-life, you know? Let me see here. What is this? What is this? What is this? Because that's sitting in this way. Dog is in house, birds. Hold on. Hold on. Where's the illness? The illness is here. It's this person, and he sits on house birds. He sits on house birds. Birds. This is an older couple. Older couple. Got it. Okay, so it's this way. There's an illness here. There's an illness with these three, even though these are far away. Tower sits far from him, and clouds is far from tower, so he's got longevity. This illness is around this person. This person here, dog sits on birds. Birds is an older couple. Communicating and talking to someone loyalist that is an older couple that is very significant to this woman, or she's part of the pair. Dog nights here. So as this, going back to me looking at this as Jenny Thomas, because we've already discussed it in regards to his wife, if this right here, this illness is in regards to Clarence Thomas, because she sits on house lilies, and then following this way, an older couple that's very loyal, that's very important. But this one partook in a pressure campaign, key in the House of Mountain, and she was very persistent on delaying something and fighting about it. And there's knowledge about it that comes out to the public. She nights here to lilies and bouquet. And if I remember correctly, it's going to be a while before she goes to court based on her grand tableau, because she was up here and court was over here. So it had to wrap around this way. If this is in regards to Jenny Thomas, as time moves this way and then back around, there may be some talk if this person has to leave her husband because of the problems that she's in. because she's very persistent, but then this thing it blows up. It doesn't look like a father-in-law, Jenny. I mean, it could be, but also, there's something here about quite possibly COVID as well. Or you know what, Jen? It could be her father-in-law too, China. And then this way, something suspicious that's health related. SARS with birds, because birds have to do with SARS. That is from far away, China. And then there's an illness here. And then there's illness here. I'm not sure when that comes up for him. Dog sits on birds. But there's something here about the whole COVID situation that they had knowledge, and then the public in trouble and lying. And then Moon in the House of Coffin. So like the public recognized that this was a serious illness that came from abroad, blah, blah, blah. And the recognition of the deaths, and also the end of careers. Okay, if that makes any sense. If I go this way, we already talked about the loyalists and people, the bullies that came that had weapons at the Capitol, but there's also a couple of bullies here. And then so I don't know if this is in reference to what happened with Brett Kavanaugh or inheritance for him. I don't see it. I don't see inheritance for him, because you would need ship, fish, and anchor, but it's separated here by whip. And you would need coffin nearby as well, and it's separated by this. But it would need to be coffin and then ship, not ship coffin, if that makes sense. So it would have to be coffin, ship, and then the other two, this of the C cluster, these two close by, to show an inheritance. But if that's the case, it's closer to her. And if you look here, there's that big ass mountain between him and her. And that passion and love is very strained. Heart sits on cross. And then if you look here, follow her line up, that marriage is broken. They stayed together to appease the public for fame, but not him. I hope that answered your question, Jenny. And also the business transactions are over her head. He's separated here by mountain. He's not part of it. He's not part of it. So let's see here. Let me see something. So I'm following mice. And that chain is mice to key to mountain, woman, lilies, bear, bouquet, heart, cross, storks, ring, clouds, letter, fish, crossroads, dog, birds, ship, house, book, tree, clover, whip, child, tower, stars, moon, coffin, garden, and then snake. That's the chain around this. So let me see how I can break this down. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. That's 30 cards around. Hold on, you guys. Let me use the restroom real quick. Too much coffee. I saw a meme today on Twitter that had a picture of Jenny Thomas and Clarence Thomas hugging and stuff, and it says, "We put the coup in couple." I was like, "You're damn right." You're damn right. Mm. Let me see. Let me see here. What else can I look at? Ah. So there's meetings taking place up here about a transition or a transfer of some sort in regards to a win, but even if it's a small win, that's very uncertain. If this crossroads, not just elections, but um, no, it's about meeting about the transition that took place with members of the House, Jen. Um, if this is in regards to polls, they're not looking good. So there may be conversations or meetings about wins or trying to, let me see, Clover sits on whip. It's the wins are small and difficult. And it also may have something to do with perhaps someone new, like a new candidate that is not looking good at all. Very confused and crazy here, ill right here. And then here's the polls. So I don't know if this, oh my God, Herschel Walker. That fucking idiot, dude. I guess he made a statement the other day that if you don't like it here, you can go move to one of the other 51 states. And it's like, this guy thinks we're in, he literally thinks that there's 52 states in the United States. Like, he can't even, ay, 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 ay. And I think the last poll I saw had him trailing, I think, by 9 points. I think that guy's a hot goddamn mess. A freaking hot mess. Let me see. And the reason I said this is not about meetings overseas, because Ship sits in the House of House, Jen. So meetings that were had about the transitions with members in the House, if that makes sense. I don't know what conservative group thought he would be a good candidate, but I mean, fucking Christ, dude. Seriously. I already talked about Garden up here. That would be the committee, correct? It's looked at very well. The public is quite happy with it. You're getting to see Ring sits in the House of Clouds, Garden sits in the House of Snake, and then Moon sits in the House of Coffin. So the public is becoming aware of the problematic agreements that were made and how the public was lied to about the loss. That's all coming to light. Members of this community or this party, those that were all in agreement, and the careers that have been ruined. You have Scythe in the House of Fox, and then Lily's in the House of Bear, Tower in the House of Stars. So investigative decisions, very decisions about fraud that were taken to the court here, because here's judge here. And then if you follow it this way, the committee being very honest about the persistent lies and how widespread Tower sits on Stars, how widespread and vast this whole thing was in the government and other institutions. Bonnie, he doesn't pay his child support. He's got children that he hasn't claimed. The guy thinks that there's 52 states in the United States of America, that he can't form coherent sentences. Who the hell thought? They just, you know what, I'll tell you what they did. They looked at Herschel Walker. They said, previous NFL player, and he's black. That's all we need to pander to the black community and to pander to our stupid Republican voters that don't even care that this guy can't formulate a sentence. There you go. There's our pick. Our voters are that stupid that they would vote for this guy. I mean, it's an insult to the people in the state of Georgia that they even thought to put that idiot up for election. I mean, you can do better. You can do better. Because, I mean, dear God. Okay, so Ring knights here to Key, and it knights here to Snake. Ring sits in the House of Clouds, Key sits in the House of Mountains, Snake sits in the House of Mice. So those problematic relationships or agreements that were made to significantly obstruct something and lie about a loss or lie about something that was stolen. Ring knights to Dog. The like I said, the people in the party, members of the party that were being loyalist in the meetings that they had, Dog sits on Birds is right over it. Ring Knights over here to Tower in the House of Stars. That problematic relationship and how vast and widespread it was within government. And then with Ring Knighting here to Dog, and then like we talked about this earlier, a woman that's very loyal and friendly, that's part of an older couple that was very persistent and delaying and blocking. That's why I read this also as Jenny Thomas. She's going to cause him, the situation with Jenny Thomas is causing him a fucking headache. It's causing him a damn headache. And then this way, she's going to have problems with the courts. But she's going to be persistent. She's going to be very, 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 very persistent. So here we're seeing court problems for this woman. Legal problems for her. Snake in the House of Mice. Legal problems and a lot of worry and anxiety for her. She Knights here to Bouquet. She's happy that she'll get what she desires. And then right here, getting what she desires. But good luck with that, because that's going to be very difficult. Heart in the House of Cross. Let me see here. I already went over that, Marie. That's part of the corners. When the news of the investigation, when it's finalized and everything finalized, but it's slow moving because Tree is right here. This doesn't move fast. It doesn't move fast. But the investigation, and it'll recognize how widespread this is. The widespread recognition of how widespread this effort was to overturn something, and those that were in agreement. I said that way earlier. Walker had domestic violence. Yeah, didn't he threaten a couple of his ex-wives or something? That he was going to kill her or something like that? I mean, seriously. Seriously. Who are they going to run next? Ted Bundy? You know, like, fuck, dude. These people are so fucked. So incredibly fucked. Okay, so letter Knights to Child and Key. Letter Knights to Child and Key. Child in the House of Tower. An abundance of paperwork. New government. And then that's very important to delay and obstruct. So what's his strategy? Hold on. Strategy. So it goes Fox to Ryder to Scythe back to Fox. That's a very short chain. This is talking about the strategy to try to win this out and cut off the investigation. Fraudulent news gets canceled. Investigation moving forward gets canceled. Fox News danger. If we want to read it like that. Fox News danger. Fox News decision. Fox News accident. No, these two mirror. So if this is people from Fox News coming in, it gets canceled here, gets cut off. The visitor gets cut off. So, but I don't know how Fox News would fit in with Mitch McConnell. He's never on Fox News ever. Ever, ever, ever. So, yeah, it would be great if it was Fox News being cut off. Well, the judge just ruled the other day that the defamation lawsuit against Fox News can move forward. And I guess the defamation lawsuit, I didn't watch the video. It was on a Ring of Fire, Ronan Farron or whatever his name is. I believe it had to do with the Dominion bullshit voting machine crap that they were spewing. Okay, so if it's Fox News, some sort of a decision, if I follow it this way, there's financial burdens here. Fox News, and then financial burdens. They're able to overcome the financial burdens, but it's like a penalty. It's very painful and difficult. Bear in the house of Bouquet. Storks, or I'm crossing the house of Storks, and then Storks right beneath it in the house of Ring. But lawsuits are way over here, so it has nothing to do with this. But I still don't see how Fox News would fit into Mitch McConnell, because he's never a guest there, is he? Does anybody know? Yeah, Peggy, I know that it's the lawsuit that they're involved with for Dominion voting machines, billions of dollars worth, billions. It's not a little bit of money; it's huge. But I'm not aware of any other lawsuits. Oh, Mitch McConnell's always on Fox News? Then Peggy's saying no, he's not on Fox News. He's not a yeah, I didn't think he was a frequent guest. I didn't think so. Especially since, Trump broke up with him and has, basically put a target on Mitch McConnell, calling him a rhino and a fake Republican and all this other stuff, I don't watch it either, Running Sloth. I don't. But if this is in regards to Fox News, there's financial penalties this way. I can't piece why this is showing up on Mitch McConnell's. Okay. Unless it has to do with breaking up with Trump. Why do I say that? Ring in the house of clouds. Way earlier, we talked about clouds being Donald Trump. Well, that agreement or relationship is broken here. It's cut off. Scythe goes back to Fox. There's your business and money, your wealth, your prosperity. and then a woman here. There's a lot of financial penalties here. And I'm just following the agreement. So I'm sure that once, financial penalties for Fox News, and then members of Congress the sitting members of Congress getting busted for partaking in the attempt to overthrow the government, plus all this other shit that went down. Like, once everybody starts suffering, maybe then. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Like I said, he falls outside of the tableau. So this is all shit that he can't control any of this at all. Another way to read this, okay, not just as Fox News, but with Fox being so, let me get this out this way. Let me show you guys what I'm thinking. Okay, so this is where I got Fox News. Fox News cutoff. Fox News decision. Fox News danger. Fox News accident. Separation. Okay. Fox, because it's also very cunning and manipulative and devious and sly and sneaky, it's also strategy. So what this could be saying is the strategy is to let the investigation move forward and let that bring the axe. If that makes any sense at all. So, and I think we talked, which reminds me, hold on, let me get out Kevin McCarthy's as well. Because remember when I showed you guys and I answered my own question, what I was saying way earlier before I threw this grand tableau, what I was thinking about when I was watching the hearings today, and everybody was saying that Kevin McCarthy blundered this whole thing with the committee. And I was like, what if that wasn't really a blunder and it was an agreement and a strategy that him and Mitch McConnell came into agreement with? Make it look like you're trying to participate. Put people that she's going to turn down, as that Nancy Pelosi is going to turn down, up for the committee, have her turn it down, and then Mitch McConnell doing his part by blocking the committee, having a special committee that takes out the trash and they get to keep their hands clean. Well, this is McCarthy's grand tableau. And way earlier, I was showing you guys this. It's Man-Heart stars Fox, Ring, Key, Garden, and Clouds. So the man's desire for a widespread investigation agreement that is very important with the committee, and then to keep your mouth shut. But there's this sneaky agreement right here in the middle. Key knights or Ring knights over to Bouquet. Long-term agreement or an agreement with an elder. So, and then Fox is also strategy here. So in order for the strategy to be successful is to gaslight and stay distant. This way. And then here, Let's see. Because remember, he got Mitch McConnell. Kevin McCarthy lobbied Mitch McConnell to shoot down, to vote against the committee. So you have the agreement here, the strategy. So we can say the strategy to move forward is ruptured. The strategy that is delivered is dangerous. That's another way to interpret Fox, Ryder, Scythe. The strategy to deliver a cutting blow. Am I making sense? Am I making any sense at all? Am I making any sense? Was McCarthy capable of that? I don't think so. I think McCarthy went to him for guidance. Because if this is McCarthy here, and the only reason I'm assume that this is Kevin McCarthy because it's the House, which is the King of Hearts. Okay. King of Hearts down here. Well, it's sitting on House book. He had knowledge. This person had knowledge of those that were in agreement to change something in the House, that had knowledge and obscure the results of the election right here and to steal it this way. So if this is McCarthy, if you look at what's around him, he's between a rock and a hard place. Let's say that this is McCarthy. You got Crossroads, Child. You have not obstacles, but a lot of pains in the ass in every corner. And idiots, childish people. Okay? Here you have those in agreements, storks in the House of Ring, those that were agreeing to change something. Okay? Here, House and the House of Book, knowledge of those people that were working in secret. And then the shitstorm here with Donald Trump obscuring the results, King of Clubs in the House of Letter right below. Bad messages, bad results, confusion around the elections, confusion around. And here's your thievery here. And then mice, knights here to Crossroads, election stolen. And then cross, knights here to Clouds, a lot of pain and suffering and a lot of freaking chaos. Does that make sense? It's missing 2 cards here, but I'm thinking this is Kevin McCarthy. If there is an amount, the number that's okay. So Storks is number 17. House is number 4. 6 is right here with Clouds, which is the King of Clubs. So this could be in regards to 6 members. Quite possibly, because it's the card that sits right behind House. Am I making sense? So I don't know if the total is 6 members in McCarthy's caucus that he had knowledge, because House sits on book. He had knowledge. Maybe not knowledge of how vast this entire thing was, but he had knowledge of the members. Because if you, House sits on book, if you follow book up here, there's your knowledge. Okay, book sits on tree of the growth of members in his party that were part of the conspiracy. So I don't know how many members in total in the House, but if you look to the card to the right, that's number 6. Clouds sits on letter. The bad results, the murky results, okay, the bad news. Am I making any sense? Or have I lost everybody? So I'm thinking this is McCarthy. And I would say McCarthy sought him out. Now, this is McCarthy. He knights here to Bear. He knights here to Clover. He knights here to Coffin. And he knights here to Letter. Okay, so power, strength, opportunity for a powerful win, opportunity for a lot of finance, resources, loss, serious loss and ruin here, and then the results of that, if I'm making any sense. Feels like a double cross, sort of, that very strategic if McCONNELL did it. Yeah, it's kind of, and look, see what I'm here? Now that you say that, a double cross. See that? Cross, crossroads. Anything that comes before crossroads doubles it. Double cross. Am I making sense? Thank you for saying double cross, because I was struggling with the words. Double crossing. Feisty butterfly. Am I? Because, okay, let me get the bigger cards here. Let me get the cross. Okay. If it would have been this way, cross and then, or crossroads and then cross, these are painful decisions, or decisions that will be very burdensome. Okay? In this order. What card comes before crossroads doubles it. Because crossroads by itself has to do with choices, options, alternatives, paths. Doubles. Well, if you want to get technical, cross, double cross. No, McCONNELL didn't double cross McCarthy. They worked together to overcome this problem and double cross Trump. Does that make sense? Because here is Trump here. We've already discussed that. King of clubs. And if you guys remember, I was asking about that in my head earlier. And I found it in McCarthy's Grand Tableau up here. It was right up here. And then here, Ring in the house of, Storks in the house of Ring. Okay, Storks has to do with improvements, changes, moves, fresh starts, getting a fresh start, being flexible. So there was an agreement to get out of this by double crossing this guy. And this guy, I mean Spanky. While keeping your... Blame it on somebody else. Keep your hands clean. Because remember, McCarthy sought out McCONNELL. And we were told he lobbied. If I'm following this line here, which is a line of influence, he was suffering. He had a ridiculous headache. If you follow this line of influence here, he sought guidance in secret. If this is McCarthy, it's hitting this line right here. So it's knowledge and secrets, having a private conversation with someone that you trust. There's something new in the courts and the law, and there's McCarthy there that has the knowledge of the secrets that they're doing it in private. So he took his problem for him, and he provided strategy and an exit route. I hope I'm making sense. Because this looked like, with storks on ring, this looks like it was a partnership that was made to wash their hands of a problematic man that muffled everything up and has quite possibly eliminated their chances of winning and has fucked up the primaries and the elections. I'm hoping I'm making sense. I hope I make sense, y'all. So exactly, Running Sloth. They're trying to purge Marjorie Taylor Greene, Lauren Boebert, and all the other crazies without getting their hands dirty and publicly saying it and losing voters. No, let somebody else do it. And we'll keep our hands clean. And then we can point the finger at the Democrats and use it to our advantage, if I'm making any sense. The strategy is to let this thing move forward and let it get cut off. Let the investigation move forward and cut it off, if that makes sense, to purge the party. If this is with Scythe here, cutting something away, well, what's it cutting? It's cutting this here, and then it cuts here. So these are the loyalists that are very dangerous, perhaps associated and linked to white supremacists. Okay. It's cutting off liars and people that are problematic, quite possibly a woman, Queen of Clubs, quite possibly a man here, King of Spades, another man here, King of Diamonds, another man here, King of Jack of Spades, Jack of Clubs. But it's cutting off in abundance, and also because fish has to do with wealth and prosperity, but this is an action card, independence. So perhaps members, if you follow this up here, cutting off certain members of that were sprung up from the Freedom Caucus that are very dangerous this way. And remember, he's got heart in the house of cross. So even if it's almost like what he desires requires sacrifice, if that makes sense. Or what is desired requires sacrifice, if I'm making any sense. But there's a few here. So what sits, I don't know how many members total are part of the Freedom Caucus that are batshit crazy. This is the number 30. This is 34, which adds up to 7, and then this is 7. So I don't know if they're targeting 7 members here, if I follow this line down. Because there's knowledge here that is very a secret revealed about widespread lies this way, widespread trouble. But this is number 7 with Snake. Stars is 16, 1 plus 6 is 7. So I don't know if they're targeting 7 specific members or 6 over here with clouds in the house of letter. I'm not quite sure. This one here, dog in the house of birds. I'm wondering if that can be in regards also, if that can be interpreted as Jim Jordan, because I always call him the barking chihuahua. He's out. I swear to God, I wish somebody would just kick him in the mouth. But this is someone that communicates in very angry. He's in the minority. Talks a lot. Perhaps talks very, very rapidly. When he talks, he's very abusive. Whip also has to do with anything physical. So exercise, sex, if that makes sense. So I'm wondering if we can read this as Jim Jordan as well. Now, for the Senate, though, it looks like he's got problems in the Senate, but he's got it under control. His biggest problems were coming from over here. From the House. Because if this is McCarthy, he does not have control. Control is up here. He's supposed to be the leader. But he's having a very difficult, painful time trying to herd the cats. So it's like his focus, because he lands on house anchor. Anchor's also your focus. So he's focused on this right here, the house, the problems in the house, than he is with members of his own caucus. Because from where he sits, this would be his caucus up here. See how far that is compared to the problem taking place in the house over here. If I'm making any sense at all. Just using near and far. Just using near and far. I mean, I know that there's quite a few members in the Senate that need to go. I mean, we could be here all night talking about him, but he's got them under control. McConnell has his caucus under control. He knows how to whip them and get them under control. McCarthy, that train went off the rails, and God knows where it is. He's lost complete and utter control of his party. So it's almost like it's a strategy to purge and double cross some people. Make the sacrifice, double cross some people, have somebody else purge. And if you follow this line down, the party gets cut here, and then there's significant success. See that? Even though the party gets cut and there's significant success, there's losses. But that's a sacrifice that needs to be made in order to clean this up and restore the reputation and the honor here with, what do you call this? Moon. In my mind, you gotta exterminate all these fuckers, not just the few problematic ones. Which doesn't, well, I guess it kind of sort of makes sense, because this guy is pretty persistent and successful, and he's able to reach his goals and be quite triumphant and has a lot of energy in whipping his caucus. And I was just going to say, that doesn't make sense to have someone like Herschel Walker. But then again, Mitch McConnell doesn't give a fuck who's in the Senate so long as they listen to what he says. So even though Herschel Walker is a loose cannon who couldn't add 2 + 2 with a calculator, okay, he would still fall under his control because Herschel Walker knows who bought and paid for him. Does that make sense? So he still has control over his caucus, but problems over here. You guys, hold on, give me a second, okay? Okay, so back to the double crossing thing. Double crossing those that are naive. Double crossing the naives here, the idiots. With this up here, funny and jokes, the idiots, the fools that are confused and don't know any better. If I'm making any sense at all. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So, did that make sense to everybody? Did this make sense to everybody? I hope so. I hope so. Anything else you guys have questions on with this? Any other questions on this one? You're good, Carmen? Going once? Going twice? So, since nobody has questions, just a quick recap. McCONNELL falls outside of the tableau. He will be persistent and very goal oriented in reaching his goals and being successful, but that success does not come to pass right here. What he desires is going to be very difficult for him to achieve. The investigation grows and moves forward, and it becomes very widespread, and we find out about the agreement from the insurrectionists and the loyalists that were involved through the hearings and meetings that were had to fight and discuss the results of the election by muddying it up. It implicates Donald Trump. There will be members in the House of Representatives that will be sacrificed. It appears to be a strategy between McCarthy and McCONNELL that they staged this entire thing by clearing Trump in the impeachment, letting it go to the committee, shooting down the committee, having a special committee, and then having the special committee clean house on everybody. It's a double crossing between McCONNELL and McCarthy for members of Congress and Donald Trump, because with this right here, strategizing a win, but doing it very covertly and sneaky through manipulation. But there's double crossing here of the idiots in Congress that are very, very confused. The main thing that's disturbing him and is causing him quite a bit of stress, like a lot of stress, is this woman here. That was very persistent in stonewalling and pressuring people and fighting them in private through messages that were sent. There is an abundance of mail on her and how widespread this is. Woman is card number 29. She knights over here to letter, which is card number 27. So this could be, like I was saying earlier, way earlier in the read, Jenny Thomas, because she did lobby. Was it 27 or 29 members or 29 election officials or 27, something like that, to overturn the results. That's his biggest headache, is that one of his justices could be in trouble, even though that's a lifetime appointment. Anchor is lifelong. But this comes under danger right here from an investigation. Okay, so that main concern is losing a justice because of the shitstorm that this woman created. But he did help McCarthy. McCarthy sought him out for guidance to double cross Trump. Let somebody else do it so that they can point the finger and use it strategically for their upcoming midterms. But if this is the midterms, It doesn't look good for a win. Power delivered, and then there's a win here. Okay, but Rider sits on house scythe, cut off, and then that win, difficult, sits on whip, double crossing here, and then you're still small here as a result of the election, and then turning and gaining in the house here, not going to happen. Not going to happen. And power is out of his reach. He'll continue to stonewall and block things for as long as he can, but if he's looking to, if the strategy was to partner with McCarthy and set this whole thing up with the special committee and letting the shit hit the fan and busting everybody while keeping their hands clean to use it as a strategy to win the elections, it's still not looking good here in this little box. So that's all I got for tonight. I will try to come back on tomorrow. I know that Johnny will be live. I don't know whose channel they'll be on, so please forgive me on that one. But I know it's Johnny usually does his Friday night shows with Adrian and Sienna and Tony. But I don't know what channel that. Yeah, they have senators that ask for pardons, though, but he's not quite concerned because it's way up here. So he's more concerned about the shit storm in the House. So let me see here. So I'll try to put up a poll tomorrow. Hopefully I'm not wrecked from work. So we got Biggs, Johnny Eastman, Jeffrey Clark, Ken Klukowski, Pat Cipollone, Roger Stone, and Clarence Thomas. And I'm sure that list will continue to grow as things progress. I have this on my notes. I wrote down the name. So if I need to pull these back up again, we'll have them. So thank you all for hanging out. And I will see you all next time. Bye.